Station complete.
How's it going, guys? It's Nerf Gun Charlie, and yeah, it's that time. It is that time to announce the next project. I know that this is my fourth project for the year for Armada 1. Starting off with Future Tense, the Orb of Time Remaster, building Fleet Command up. Well, now it is Millennium Project. And I'm playing it as it is. It patched into GOG just fine. You know, looking at the Klingons right now as my enemies, which hadn't played this in for so long that I forgot that part of your starting units is you get a starbase and then you get a mega starbase. For the Federation, you get D Space 9 and a starbase. You get the Galaxy X, Enterprise D, Enterprise E. So you get two heroes. They're attacking me, of course. Let's jump into the action real quick. But yeah, this is the next mod. I'm showing you what it looks like right now. As I record this, I've worked on it for a few hours, and I'll show you guys that patch here in a moment. But this is the next one. This is the latest patch that they did, which is 1.9 Special Edition. And from what it looks like, it's mainly just upgrading models. Like, it's just doing cleaner models, like you've done in some other mods. But we're not going to mess with balance. It looks like I like what they did for balance, so we're not going to change anything balance-wise. It's literally just going to be like cleaner models. A little bit cleaner models in here with cleaner textures, clean up some of the weapon textures, and just experiment a little bit. We're going to do a different UI, probably either the one I used in Fleet Command or Orb of Time. I really don't need to use the Future Tense UI only because this mod has not really gone with a lot of special weapon heavy stuff. From what I've seen from the Federation, it's using stock special weapons. They're on very few starships. It's more just starship combat. So no point to have an extra weapon slot up here and have 6 weapon slots up in your special bar if you're not really going to need them. So, like I said, it's just cleaning up, making it look fresher, putting the space package in here so that you have better looking planets and models and all that kind of stuff. That's literally what we're going to be doing here. I'm expecting this to be one of the faster projects just because we're cleaning up stuff. I will say the Klingons are going to do me more work. Sorry, it's late at night. Sorry for that yawn. It's going to take more work on the Klingons than the Federation. I haven't played the Romulans on the board yet. Only because there's a lot of reuse on these models. And as you can tell, some of them just need to be fully replaced. Others can probably be retextured, but some just need to be fully replaced, resized a little. Wireframes, they're old school from the old days. We can do better. Special weapon buttons are, stock, UI stock. Big thing about this mod is you see these special weapon pods, but you're actually researching starship tech. So you're just researching starships to unlock on here. And you've got a lot more ships to choose from here. With this being one of my favorite designs, the Demon class. Which I do like this vessel, I really do. It's a little off-kilter when you look at it in milk shape, hence why it turns the way it does. So that might be a minor fix that I do towards the end, is just getting it where it turns more naturally like the rest of the starships. That's going to be lowering the model a little bit to the root hard point in milk shape, probably redoing its hard points, and then we're fine. Let's move these up here. And there you go. For the Federation, most of the models I like, it's just updating a couple. Like the Nova class, I have a slightly better one than we're going to put in. Whereas the Intrepid, the Defiant, Norway, all look fine. The Miranda class, it's just going to be shrunk down a little bit. And that's kind of the case for most of the Federation starships, is they're fine, but maybe one or two need to be updated. I'm moving away from the battle so I can still talk. One or two need to be updated, or it's resizing. Just resizing a model to where it's a little bit more believable. There's some of them that are just massive, and they just, it's just proper sizing. It's not going to be scale specific, but it does, you don't need a Dauntless class being twice the size of an Intrepid class when they were roughly about the same size. Or having, what was one of the other ones in here? We had, I'm drawing a blank, Warship Voyager. Warship Voyager is listed as Intrepid X, which is one of the next classes I can build, and it's larger than an Intrepid. Just need to make them the same size. Don't need to mess with their armaments or anything like that, just need to make them the same size. And for some of these models, this is the best version of them, simply because no other version was made for them. For example, on the advanced shipyards, you have a Sovereign X class with 3 nacelles, and it has a phaser cannon in the front. Outside of this mod, there's really not a better one unless I go to something like Legacy modding or Bridge Commander modding, and then that's just way too many polygons. So, that's what we're looking at. Now that they've been blown up, let's move to the update and see the changes I've done so far.
Station complete.
Alright guys, for you, a few seconds have passed? For me, it's been about 3 to 4 hours, with some breaks in there. And this is what we've got so far. This is actually the second time I've recorded this section of the video, because I was not happy with the UI. I was initially using the Federation UI from Orb of Time, which looks okay, but for Millennium Project, I want to go a little bit better. And then, like I said, I don't want to have to use Future Tense UI here. We really don't need it for the 6th weapon slot because, well, it's just stock weapons in here with the one exception. So it wasn't really needed. So instead we went with Fleet Command. Fleet Command UI, I'm using those same LCARS buttons because it does fit. And we went ahead, I've got my single panel wireframes in here. Not all of them have been created. Some of them are placeholders. But this is about the simplest pattern to go with when it comes to this UI. If I was using Future Tense UI, I have a little bit more leeway as far as what kind of detail I can get in without it getting distorted, blurry. So that's why I kind of went with these wireframes. And like I said, some of them are not here yet, like Prometheus. Some of them are. For the Federation, there are 2 unique specials that I'm able to find so far, as they do have Transwarp Drive in the form of Slipstream. And the Prometheus class is the only one that I can see that has a phaser cannon. And it's going to get renamed because it's a phaser spread. That's literally all it is. So, hold on. Thank you. So, I've gotten all the special weapon buttons done. Since our research buttons are starship buttons, that was easy, as you can see. That was easy. This is the only one that's off slightly. I'll probably do a new photo for it, but all of our starships here are represented. I'm not sure how this happened here. Quite honestly, you put this thing into milk shape, and it looks 4 times worse than this in milk shape. And that's including re-downloading the original model from Armada files. It still looks horrible in milk shape. I'm probably going to have to find a way to get it converted, probably with Blender or another program, see if one of my buddies on Discord can help, to get it where it actually looks like McKinley before we release this without it looking like, well, this. Everything else, though, it's looking good, including Deep Space Nine. I shrunk down our heavy weapon platform. It needs a wireframe. This is the CRP turret we were showing. The CRP turret is their custom turret, and obviously it fires chain reaction pulsars. Hold on. Thank you. So, it's just a placeholder, but a lot of these have not been done wireframe-wise. Come on. Thank you.
Just tell me where to go.
And that's kind of what we're looking at, is just making for sure everything that I can update I have so far. Federation is about 90% complete. There's only one or two minor things that we really want to do. And besides that, we are pretty much done. Just because, like I said, I don't want to really mess with weapon balance that they've done. I don't want to just start adding in special weapons for the sake of special weapons. It looked like they wanted more of, this is phasers, torpedoes, pulse cannons. It is more similar to combat you would see on the TV show than what the traditional RTS was in its base form. It's more of that combat. And yes, they do have the special weapon turrets with the chain reaction pulsars for the Federation. They've got the heavy weapons platform. They've got a few unique things in here, but with the lack of amount of special weapons and kind of the breadth of starships that they have, it just felt like it's more of starship combat. You're not really cheesing a whole lot of things with 15 different types of special weapons, and I really don't want to mess with that. So we're going to kind of leave it that way, especially considering it works in the campaign. Because this is, it's been hyped for years. You plug this in, you still can play the campaign, and it's just been slightly modified. But we're about, like I said, 95% done. I literally have on my list over next to me on my other PC 15 wireframes. Since these are single panels that I'm doing in Storm, it's not going to take that long to really do them. I just have to make sure I don't miss anything. Actually, let me take that ship off. I've already done that one. That's one less. And just double checking my list. Yep, I do have to do all those. So, it's really just wireframes at this point for a few starships, and then
All sections report.
we're going to change up the beam weapons on these right here on the Wells class, just because they're firing regular phasers, and since they're temporal vessels, they don't need to be firing the same color phaser as the rest of the Federation. They're temporal disruptors. So they're probably going to end up having, instead of a orangish phaser, they're going to end up having something along the lines of blue. Same with their torpedoes, are probably a completely different torpedo texture, just so that they stand out. But that's about it. Now, in terms of, and I got this question on Discord, so I'm answering this question. How many ships roughly per race are you going to have combat-wise? So we're going to go through this. Let me just get down here so we're out of earshot. So, all of these, you got 10 on here. Then another 10. So that's 20. Plus on this yard, they traded out the New Orleans for the Achilles. That's 21. 22. And let me see, what am I missing? The Delta Flyer is 23. The Runabout is 24. And forgot the Oberth. Oberth is 25. Yep, I forgot about those. 26, 27. So 27 combat starships. Which is actually it's just higher than I thought, honestly. 27 combat starships. You're probably going to be looking at that many combat starships per race. And this is me not adding a thing. I have merely updated a couple of the models so that they are better quality models. That's about it. The lineup is precisely what they have in the mod if we were to download it today. Like I said, we're just cleaning this up. So 27 combat models. And that's it. Like I said, we'll probably be done with this. I'm going to start making these screenshots, these wireframes here, about 5 minutes, respectively, while this is uploading to YouTube. And then we'll be done. I'll plug this in. We'll be done. I'll take a day off, and then we'll start working on the Klingons, which is who we're fighting right now. And as you can see, they do need some work. Gotta, clean up their special weapon turrets. This is their mega base to equal the DS9 model. So I mean, they've got some work here. Resizing of models. I have nothing wrong with this. They call it the Batleth class. I've also seen it called the Goskil, and I've called it the Goskil. It's just too large. I believe this is the equivalent to the Excalibur class. Which, can I go ahead and build that? Yep. I believe my texture changes in here. We'll give it a... What is this? It's the only ship I haven't built, honestly. So, we've got about a minute and a half. Okay. So, it's mainly just, like, texture updates. I know for the Klingons, they are going to need model updates. I know they are. Wow. Really stacking it there. That's a slight glitch. So, there's ships in here that could use a visual update or resizing. Like, there's a lot of these models are not bad. They just need better models. Like, that's a Burrell class. I have a better Burrell than this one right here, because this is long after the mod was released. So we've got better stuff we can put in here. We just have to actually put it in. And I still have yet... Ooh, there's a bug right there. It's venting... It's venting engine plasma. We gotta fix that. We can put that through Milkshave and get that fixed. Get that taken out. That's fine. But yeah, it's just this. And I've yet to mess with the Romulans or the Borg, because I've literally been using the Klingons or the Federation as my test bed while I get the Federation ready. So I am not sure what the Romulans or the Borg look like here. I'm going to find out as I'm coding it and giving you guys updates. Let's see. Yep, Excalibur's almost done. The one change, if anybody that worked on this mod back in the day ever sees this, that I made to the Excalibur, it's a personal choice. And it's because the original Excalibur has green warp plasma in its nacelles. And I know it's because it's always been that trans-warp vessel. But to me, the blue looks better. The green is just too jarring, so I changed it to blue. That's about it. Other than that, this is your big bad battleship for the fleet until you get your Wells class built. And I do happen to like the Excalibur design. But that's all I've got. Like I said, it's minor things, like fixing McKinley Station, getting the rest of these wireframes in, changing one weapon texture set, and that's about it. That's all that's left, and we're 25% done with the mod. Once I'm done fixing all of them up here in multiplayer, I'll probably do some tests in single player. I know they've modified it, but it'll be ready for release. And I'm hoping it goes as smoothly as this right here. We shall see. Thank you guys for sticking around. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm at it again. Until next time, this has been Nerf Gun Charlie. Y'all stay safe out there.